a championship matchup years in the making, or at least on the professional level. Coco Gauff and Qinwen first met at the Orange Bowl as juniors. Qinwen, 2 years the senior of Coco, would lose that match as Coco served up the breadstick in the first set. Fast forward to today, who will be crowned the 24th season WTA champion? As usual, this video is brought to you via the Doctrine of Fair Use, the Fair Dealing, and the Digital Millennium Act. Coco owns the head-to-head One Love as they played earlier this year in Rome, and Coco won that in straight sets. Despite the loss in Rome, Qinwen would go on to win the gold medal at the France Olympic Games. That's right, guys, taking out Iga Swiatek along the way. She even won Tokyo, as we saw her go on a very impressive run to take out big game Sofia Kenin. She defended her title in Palermo, capturing 3 total championships this year. Last year, when she won her first main tour championship in Palermo, she took out Jasmine Paolini, where we saw her defeat this week. She would even take out Barbora Krejcikova and Zheng. 2 ladies she both defeated this week. Does she have the magic in her to get revenge from Coco taking that Orange Bowl title as juniors? The Chinese fans have showed up and supported Qinwen all week long, even though she's been surrounded by controversy, yelling at fans, acting as though she did not know the score versus Sabalenka, and just downright being very competitive and fierce. But one thing we do know for sure is that the impact that these ladies have had to the children, the women in this region, will be everlasting. Positive images shown all week of these ladies embracing the culture and the culture embracing these ladies. There was a lot of controversy when it was announced the tour would be playing the finals in Saudi Arabia. A lot of outlets encourage the players to protest some of the things that go on, where in a region women have been treated like second-class citizens. I can tell you, watching and covering this tournament all week long, I've seen nothing but positive impact that these ladies have brought to the region. Congratulations. Take a bow. These were the scenes of Barbora earlier as Qinwen would get the victory, keeping Barbora on the back foot, preventing her from gaining any type of rhythm. And yes, guys, that would put Qinwen here in the final, getting ready to take on Coco Gauff. During the match against Barbora, Qinwen had 9 aces, 4 double faults. She would have won nearly 80% of her first serves and pressure Barbora into 7 breakpoint opportunities. Can she keep that same magic up against Coco, who's going to bring a completely different type of style? Coco Gauff had an amazing week, but not without controversy. That's right, guys. After starting off 2-0, defeating Jessica Pegula and Iga Swiatek, she had the opportunity to go 3-0 here at the WTA Finals by taking out Barbora Krejcikova and revenging an earlier loss to her. However, criticized for not playing 100% and giving her all, a lot of fans said she didn't want Iga Swiatek to remain in the tournament. That's right, guys. If Coco would have won and defeated Barbora Krejcikova, then Iga would have made the semifinals. Guys, listen, what I say to you is, if you want to make the semifinals or the final, you have to win. It's not another player's job to help you win matches or make it deep in the draw. That's not how this thing works, right? You can't complain that you're eliminated from a tournament because another person didn't play hard. That just doesn't make sense to me. A Jordan fist pump from Coco as she would get revenge against Sabalenka and surge ahead in that head-to-head matchup. Again, she was up 4-2 previously, but Sabalenka won the previous 2 meetings. Against the matchup against Sabalenka, we saw Coco display her effort, her will, her passion to fight, wearing the royal purple, guys. Purple's a beautiful color with a lot of strong meanings. 3 aces, only 2 double faults. She would win 58% of her first serves and win 56% of Sabalenka's second serves. 45% of Sabalenka's second serves as well. And listen, guys, 6 for 11 on breakpoint opportunities. Coco Gauff showed you why she's the future of tennis today, but she showed you why she's the fastest player on tour, why she's the best defender on tour, why with this new coach, Mr. Daly, with this new game plan of going out there, problem solving, making in-match adjustments, prove to the world that Coco Gauff is going to be here for a very long time. Sabalenka's emotional outbursts, her instability, showed you how frustrated she was against Coco. It showed you how good Coco is as the world's ranked number one. Really acted like, she acted like an amateur. Let's just be honest. That was uncalled for. Sabalenka's the world's number one. And do you see how Coco frustrated her? Look at these facial expressions. Slamming her racket down repeatedly, yelling at her camp, disrespecting her coach, while Coco just stayed calm, mature. And to me, if I didn't know who was ranked number one, just watching this matchup, I would probably think it was Coco, who's ranked number 3. Nonetheless, a beautiful exchange of words at the net, and Sabalenka has always been respectful and courteous to Coco, but I question her respect for the fans in the game. Doing this with millions watching, it just shows how unstable Sabalenka is to this day. The matchup with Qinwen, everyone wants to know who's going to win the WTA finals. Well, I'll give you my personal opinion, guys. I think Qinwen Zheng has an amazing serve. She's been serving well all this week. And for her to beat Coco, she's going to have to serve well tomorrow. She had 9 aces against Barbora. And the matchup with Coco, for her to win, I personally think she's going to have to get double-digit aces. She's going to have to take as much pressure off of Coco in between rallies as possible. The matchup with Barbora, she had 9 aces, but let's not forget against Polini, she had 12 aces. Against Rybakina, she had 6 aces. That's right, guys. If you take a look overall, Qinwen's averaging 9 aces per match. So she's going to need at least that to defeat Coco. Coco Gauff against Aryna Sabalenka, I think the key there was only 2 double faults. She had 3 aces, but she did not give them all back in free points to her opponent. She had 11 aces against Barbora and won 68% of her first serves for most of the match, but still lost. In my personal opinion, I think, yes, she did take it a little bit easy. I have seen Coco play a lot more aggressive. But again, I say this a lot. When you're dealing with professional sports and the outcome will not change where you are in the next round, whether that's the playoffs, the semifinals, a lot of time players, they play cautiously to make sure they're healthy and they're not injured going into one of the most important matches to come. Against Iga Swiatek, Coco had 11 double faults and still defeated her. That's right, guys. Backed by 2 aces and winning only 57% of her first serves. But the key there was her defense, as she won 63% of Iga Swiatek's first serves and 55% of her second serves, with 12 opportunities to break her. My personal pick for this matchup, it's a fairly simple one. You saw what Coco did to Aryna Sabalenka, and I told you guys last year, I told you this year, I told you several times last year that I don't think Qinwen Zheng will ever beat Aryna Sabalenka, at least not anytime soon. That's another one of the most lopsided head-to-head matchups between the top 10 players in the world. The reason why is I just think Aryna Sabalenka is just too powerful. Her forehand's too strong for Qinwen Zheng, and her serve just keeps her on the back foot to begin and start the rally. Why does someone like Qinwen struggle against Sabalenka, but a player like Coco plays Sabalenka so well? Well, it's quite simple. Coco's the best defender on tour, and the fact that she breaks opponents nearly 50% of the time goes to show how good she is at finding herself in the rally, no matter who she's playing, right? Because that's an average for the course of the year. But it also lets you know her fight, her will, her determination to get balls back and win every point to help her win the match. Facing someone like Qinwen Zheng, who's also showed a lot of instability all week long, a lot of frustration, and a lot of lack of discipline and mental focus, which is surprising to me because this is why I made the video. Is Qinwen Zheng, is the fame getting to her? Is she losing it? Is she out of control? Watching her play for a lot of her career, one of the things that I felt made her such a good player was her mental toughness, much like Elena Rybakina. But as time tells and reveals, these players are starting to get weaker and weaker mentally. And take a look at Sabalenka today. She really lost control of it. And Qinwen has as well for most of this week. One person that has not is Coco. So not only do I think Coco's defense and her ability to get balls back and pressure Qinwen Zheng is going to make a difference in this match, I think Coco's maturity and her mental focus that she's displayed all week long, and in fact, I'd probably say the last month and a half, is going to play a huge impact on this match. I think Qinwen Zheng, when she finds herself down a break, mentally, I think she's going to crumble. And in fact, if we go back to the Australian Open earlier this year, if Coco defeats Sabalenka, which she should have, right? But she choked. She made a mistake. She was up 6-5, 30 love. I think Coco wins her second Grand Slam if she gets past Sabalenka and plays Qinwen. Qinwen wants to play behind the baseline. She wants to hit the deep ball. The problem with that is she's going to play into Coco's backhand playing that style. If she comes forward, Coco's going to hit passing shots and drop shots that Qinwen just won't be able to return. Qinwen Zheng, to have any chance against Coco, she's going to need her average of 9 aces, but I would take it even a step further and say double-digit aces. We know Coco's so good that she can serve 10, 11, 12, 15, 20 double faults. Coco can give you 5 free service games and still beat you or come close to beating you. That is insane. What does that tell you? That tells you that every point Coco fights for, and at some point or another within that rally, she's probably going to have the upper hand, right? Against Aryna Sabalenka, Coco won just about every rally over 9 shots. Sabalenka has a lot deeper ball than Qinwen Zheng, a lot stronger ball than Qinwen Zheng, a lot faster ball, and she has better angles than Qinwen. Qinwen, for the most part, she's going to baseline straight. She's going to play straight tennis with you, just deeper. I don't see how she's going to be able to keep Coco on the back foot, just playing tennis like that. I don't. And my personal pick is I think Coco Gauff is going to win this match and be crowned WTA champion for the 24 season and get ready for next year because Coco's going to take the tour by storm. She's already the most popular player. She's the most recognized player. And once she starts putting together slams, the WTA, the ratings, the sponsors, the viewership is going to go through the roof. The WTA is what Coco needs. We need that next big superstar. And right now we just don't have it besides Coco. Sabalenka's big, but she's getting older. Her 30s are approaching. Elena Rybakina mentioned next year she wants to win slams. Well, I hope she does, because right now she's doing too much time complaining and it's taking away from her game. Yes, she's had injuries. She hasn't been one healthy, so we give her a pass. But she is big time, and we need her playing tournaments. But any lady in the top 10 right now, top 20 on tour, no one's bigger than Coco. And if the WTA wants to take off and get to the next level, it's going to need Coco to play well. And I know Coco knows that. She's been fighting and fighting to improve her game. She's been listening to coaches that had game plans that didn't work. That's behind us. And I'm telling you guys, you're looking at the new Coco, the 2.0, the new version of Venus Williams. Yes, we're not going to compare Coco to Venus Williams. We're not going to compare her to Serena. But I've said for a while now, Coco reminds me of a young Venus Williams. And as she starts to win slams and mature and get better, I think you're going to see that newer, younger version of Serena. Coco's gone through a lot of growing pains. I've been there every step of the way. For those of you that follow the channel and listen to the videos, you know I've supported Channel when she's had the double fault issue. I've supported her when she was averaging 4 double faults a match, but it was the so-called forehand issue. I've supported Coco when it was so-called the mental issue. I've supported Coco when it was so-called she needs a new coach. Her dad can't do it anymore. Listen, guys. I've supported Coco when she was 15 years old, going into SW19, defeating Venus Williams. She's always been a great player. She's always had what it takes. And now it's time she puts it together for what some may say or call the biggest championship of her career, the WTA champion. This is a prestigious award, guys, because the best 8 ladies in the world play for it. Earlier, there was talks about in the year, the big 3. You know, we've had players, I'm not going to remind you, I'm not going to mention their names, just completely leave Coco off that list. Iga, Sabalenka, Rybakina. Right now, all of those ladies came here and only one is standing. That's right, the one that no one gave a chance or wanted to include in the big 3. The one that defeated the world's ranked number 1 and number 2 en route to this championship here. One of only 7 players in the history of the tour to do that in the same tournament. And Coco Gauff is going to win and become the WTA champion for the 2024 season. Coco Gauff defeats Qinwen Zheng, and she is crowned WTA champion. I'm your host, Good Energy. Thanks for listening. Get some rest. We got a few more hours before the matchup is on. Join me as I cover it live. Like the videos, hit the super thanks, and do me a favor, guys. When Coco wins, drop a heart. I'm your host, Good Energy. Spread love, spread positivity. I've had an amazing week covering tennis here in Saudi Arabia. I wasn't sure what to expect, to be honest with you, because there was a lot of controversy surrounding this tournament. But from what I've seen, it's been a beautiful tournament, and the ladies did well. The WTA did an amazing job putting on this show, much better than last year. And I think personally the WTA finals should be held inside. There shouldn't be any weather elements, wind, rain. I mean, it was a nightmare last year in Cancun, just raining, everything. It was a freaking nightmare. So thank you guys for the love and support. Like the video, and we're rolling with Coco to win it all. Have a good night.